And we are back. You are listening to the Rutten River Pursuit podcast. Remember, we are Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you in the outdoors by connecting you with the people, skills, and products you can trust. We're still breaking down the National Rifle Association's Great American Outdoor Show. It is day 7, folks. We're heading into the weekend. Only a couple of days of the show left, but still so much to see and do. Whew. We're going to get back after it. We're going to get down to that showroom floor, and I think I'm going to take you guys to the Archery Hall here a little bit. Let's go see what's going on down there. All right, guys, we are in the Archery Hall. You know, if I'm at the show, I'm not going to be far from the Archery Hall. That's right.
Pass through archery. I can't even say it.
Pass through archery. It's a clever name. But it's also a really great Instagram follow. You guys should check it out.
Check it out. It's all about us. Sorry, guys.
A little shameless promotion there, I suppose.
Just kidding.
But this is actually a great opportunity for me to remind folks that we're doing some serious video content this year.
Yes.
So go check out the Facebook and the Instagram posts. One of those was an interview I did, real quick one, with my good buddy Brady Myers. And as I said in the video, you know, I grew up, or Brady grew up around the family, and I coached
around
him.
You?
Yeah, he grew up around me. So he's still an okay kid in spite of that.
Right.
But Brady shoots for PSE, and you guys are also helping Brady out a little bit in his soon-to-be very accomplished career in archery. But we're here at the NiceTargets booth.
Yes.
And we got Jim and Tatum.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're
Just making sure I'm getting that right. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have here.
So, yeah, speaking of Brady, we started working with him probably 4 years ago, and he came up to us and showed us a couple targets that he was, knocking the centers out of them and blowing paper out. So we're like, yeah, we'll help you, whatever. They're not super expensive targets. We run them in bulk, so they're pretty inexpensive. Gave him a few, called us back up. His dad's his dad's a character too, him.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie's good. So he's like, yeah, we need some more of those targets. I'm like, yeah, we'll send them out, and then pretty soon the Instagram pops up and he starts, tagging us in there. So it was quite exciting. And then awesome. You watch him go and he's finishing first and everything, podium and everything.
Yep. I think they're leaving tomorrow for Vegas.
They are, yeah. He's going for the 10 grand shootout. He wants to win that thing, he said.
Yep.
So, and then, did you see all of his deer this year too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was trying not to watch too close.
Lucky kid.
He's a really good kid, though. So he's worked really, really hard, and I've seen him in the backyard shooting for hours on end. And because he is shooting for hours on end, it makes sense that he was going to partner up with you guys and start using some of your targets, because all-weather, photorealistic plastic targets, as it says on your sign. I didn't just come up with that.
But they last 50% longer, bud.
So durable.
Yep. So
almost 5 times.
Yeah, that one's 831 shots in the plastic to 171 in paper, and the paper's already blown out.
Oh my goodness.
So it's close to 5 to 1. So our company has a plastics company. It's been around since 1948. My grandfather started it.
Okay.
And I picked up, when I was growing up, my parents didn't allow any firearms in the house, like a BB gun. We got, back in the 70s, we got the belt. So
you'd shoot your eye out.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
And I'm still here looking at you, so I'm okay.
You made it.
My 18th birthday, I went out and bought a bow. That obviously freaked my father out. So bought a bow. I didn't know anything about hunting.
That's why we buy bows. To freak our parents out.
Exactly. Yeah. So bought a bow. I didn't even know what a deer track looked like. I mean, I wasn't in the woods at all when I was younger. So hit it hardcore from the mid-'80s up through the 90s. And like everyone else, bought a paper target, poster, $5, put it out. Rains overnight. Next day, come out, things on the ground laying there in a heap of pile, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, we should print these things on plastic and we can just put them outside. Well, 15 years later, the company finally got to a point where I'm like, we need to do something different. I'm saying, let's print targets on plastic. All my employees look at me because we do pond liners and greenhouse covers, and we're in the golf industry and the hockey industry, and they looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, we can print these on plastic. We'll run them in bulk, and then we can sell them. It'll be real inexpensive, and they'll last a long time. And that's 8 years later now, and here we are.
And he had the idea so long ago, but we actually, we couldn't figure out how the capability of printing these would, come to fruition.
With the cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these posters, and it's to say that it's poster quality is an understatement. It's
photo
beautiful
quality.
image that's printed out on these things. So it's got real good quality. I can see the hairs. I'm looking at a deer standing sort of broadside but kind of quartering away. And I can see the fuzzy hairs on his neck sticking out. Like, that's impressive.
And we partnered
and of course,
with
this one's puddled up with water, too, to show you that it's waterproof.
And we partnered up with this photographer, Eric Dresser, if I can just drop his name real quick.
I was going to ask you,
He's sending me these awesome photos. Like, we got this big straight-on deer, which you guys can't see on the podcast, but he's sending me these big trophy buck pictures. I mean, I'm like, man, that is an awesome picture. Of course, most of us archery shooters wouldn't take that shot normally.
Still fun to practice.
So I'm like, I need quartering away shots, and I need broadside. And he's like, but those don't look good. I'm like, but I can't use this for a target.
Yeah, but we need them for targets.
So he sends me that one, the quartering away snow buck, and then the other one behind you guys there, the field buck. And I'm like, perfect. He goes, these are terrible pictures. I'm like, no, it's perfect.
That's
exactly
what you want.
It's perfect for a
Yeah,
target
this
now.
guy right here with the tree.
Now,
That quartering away shot is perfect.
Yeah.
that's
I
ideal.
love that picture.
Yep.
Does he happen to send you GPS coordinates where the photo is taken?
I think it was
I'd be interested in that.
on my
as well.
property. He's taking a picture on my deer.
And he did hunt for a long time when he was growing up, and then he gave it up because he traded the bow for a camera.
Yeah.
And he hunts them.
Right.
He got kicked off his property, and he found this one in 2 weeks and got the photo.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
Yeah, and then another feature of our targets that's different is that we have ghosted kill zones. So when you get back to about 20 yards, you can't see our kill zones. So we want to make sure it's more like you're in a hunting
That
situation
is
rather than
so
just target
smart.
practice.
Yeah.
And for teaching kids, youths,
Yeah.
there's no orange dots in the woods, at least in Wisconsin. I don't know where you guys are hunting at. So
That's something I have trouble with is
Chase-
target panic.
yeah.
So this is
He's
really helpful
freaking
in
out
that.
in your booth as we speak.
Yeah.
And we had
It's okay,
a
bud.
customer who had bought our targets previously come up to us today, and he was saying he was having his daughter just shoot targets, and then he took her out to hunt, and
You don't
he's
know
like,
where to
why'd
hold.
you let that deer pass by? She's like, well, all I'm aiming at is a big blob.
Circle.
Yep.
There's no X.
Right.
And he was like, these were a lifesaver because then she could finally learn
This-
how to shoot the animal before
This
we
makes
go
a lot
out.
more sense than the plan I had. I was going to actually go and shoot a couple of deer with some orange paintball
Yes.
paint.
Before the
then
season
hunt.
starts.
And then that
just-
way
yeah.
the kids would know where to shoot.
Right.
This is actually a lot better.
The problem is if you shot them with the orange paintball, they all be shooting them in the ass, right?
Well, there's that. Boy, now I get it why you and Donnie get along so well.
All right.
Makes sense.
Now, this is really cool. And you guys have something that is completely next level. And it takes...
Oh, look at that.
Get
All
out.
right.
So,
You buy a whole roll of them and they just peel off.
Yeah, the boxes of deer come 100 on a roll, and they're perforated. So
Okay.
as you go, you just tear them off. There's like barely any storage space taken.
Holy.
That's 100 targets right here, 4x4 box.
And right here,
Holy bucks.
this
Wow.
3 spot, that's 200 targets right here in this box.
really?
Yes.
No shelves stacked up in the
And
warehouse.
The targets are all different? Are they all different?
all the
Are
same
they-
per roll.
Same per roll, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So if
And-
you want different ones, you have to buy different rolls.
Right.
Okay.
And now, show price or regular price, what are you charging for, let's say, the deer box?
The
of 100
box, so
targets
it's
in a roll?
$250 for $250 per target. There's 100 on a roll, so $250 would be retail.
Okay.
And then of
Yep.
course clubs, 4-H, schools, things like that, we give them a discount.
Great.
And then we work through Lancaster too, and some of
Okay.
the other major distributors, so they get obviously their distribution discount too, so they can sell
Right on.
resale.
That's a perfect price point. I mean, honestly, for what you pay for paper targets and as little as they last compared to your targets, you're more than doubling your money.
Yeah, and if you have a
Really
local
good price.
archery shop too that you have nice targets and you like them, just tell your local shop that, hey, can you put nice targets in here? It's not a problem. We'll set them up right away.
Yeah, a lot of local clubs are actually going with that. It's not corrugated cardboard, isn't the right way to say it, but that pressed foam board.
Yeah.
And then you can bring in your own paper targets and you pin them up.
Yep.
And you shoot those. But like something like this is perfect. The club could buy this, or they could have a fundraiser, sell a couple cookies, and they could get a whole roll of these for the members.
And you can buy them and shoot
That's
them,
brilliant.
shoot your
and
own
shoot 'em
target.
for a long time.
And then you can actually take yours down, fold it up, put it in your bow case, come back and put it back up.
Yeah.
Or your pocket.
Yeah.
Well, you can
Either
fold
way.
that as thin as paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a deer target right there folded down. So
That's smaller than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and no thicker than 2 or 3 pieces of paper.
Not at all.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Come on.
Everyone else's target is just not as nice.
As nice
As
targets.
nice targets. Trying to come up with taglines. I like it.
Yeah, we also our original targets are our original finish, but we actually are starting to make our targets in a matte varnish. So as you can see, like this print is kind of shiny, and then our turkeys are in our new matte finish.
Oh, I like
So you
that.
can tell the difference.
Yes.
Whether
You can
there's
see
glare
it.
from being inside in a range
Well,
or outside
outside.
with the sun.
Yeah.
So that was our only
Right.
stuff people would tell us. That was our
Only
only thing they
feedback
could
that was-
complain
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you
we're
really
trying
have
to
to
Yeah.
think.
sell through current inventory, and then they'll all switch over. So.
Okay.
And
No.
game targets, we're going to be having game targets real soon. So
Yeah.
dartboard, deck of cards. We're going to do a pool table. So you got all the balls on the
Alright.
table with a big cue ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in order to get your ball taken out, you have to hit the cue ball, your ball, and then call your pocket 3 in a row. Then you get to cross off your pool ball.
Come on.
That is thoughtful. All right.
And then another one, too, actually our booth neighbors gave us the idea last year. It's called Hunting Camp.
Yeah.
So it's going to be played the same way, kind of like cricket or whatever.
Right.
So we're going to have a deer, an elk, a bear. We have a squirrel on there, raccoon, and then all their bait. So like the deer has an acorn, the beer.
I like the way you're
We're
We're
thinking.
from
Yeah,
Wisconsin,
yeah.
so we got to talk about beer.
So the
Cheese.
beer will have a donut, and then in the middle there's going to be a hunting camp. So you have to hit the donut, then hit the bear, and then bring him back to camp. And then cross them off as you go.
That sounds like a really nice idea for me to take your guys' money.
So wait, Kugels, and then the
New Glarus,
New
spotted cow.
Glarus.
Oh,
Can't
Do you
get it
even know
anywhere
about
else.
spotted cow?
no, I never had
I've
one.
had
in
spotted cow a
Wisconsin.
bunch of times.
Only in
Yep.
Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yep.
now
No,
I-
you can get it brought home to you if you have good friends.
Yes.
I got
Yes.
spotted cow once.
Pasteurized.
But
Now
people in
you're just
Minnesota
showing
tried
off.
to sell it, and they got in trouble.
Oh,
so.
no.
And last night, because we don't have Yingling by us.
Yes.
So last night I found the Hershey's Yingling. So
Yeah?
I got a
Did
couple
you
growlers
really?
in
Good
the
deal.
van, so I'm
Good
ready
for
to go.
you. That's a hard find, really.
Really? Even the
Yeah.
Hershey's here?
Yeah,
Wow.
the Yingling is the Hershey's Yingling was a limited run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no cans and no bottles, so they custom bottled it in 32-ounce
growlers.
cans or 64-ounce growlers.
That's good stuff.
That's
I was going to
wrong.
say I had spotted cow once, but doctor told me to take a little penicillin. It went
Then
away.
you're
It
good.
cleared away? That's good, buddy.
Cleared it right.
Well, one more image we
They're
are
not
going
going
to
to let
come
us
out
back
with.
in their booth.
Nope. We're getting kicked out.
One more
come back every
target
10
we've
minutes.
been getting asked for is the vertical Vegas, so that'll come soon too. Because right now we
Okay.
just have
3 up.
the 3
In a
in the
triangle.
triangle,
Yeah.
but we're going to have the verticals soon.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Very cool.
Now, you did mention that you're selling through Lancaster.
Yep.
And are you direct to consumer, so folks could go to your website and purchase them directly
Yes.
from you?
Yep, NiceTargets.com. We're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then also on Amazon as well if you'd prefer that direction.
That's great.
Very
All
cool.
the
Yeah.
different, wherever you can.
We love the Amazons.
A love-hate relationship for a manufacturer.
I'm sure.
Okay.
You know,
I'm sure.
you have to be there, but it's a
Yeah.
necessary evil at this point.
Yeah.
They
Absolutely.
get their percentages and they get their fees and all that. So,
Yep.
but quick to the consumer.
Something you got to
know.
deal with, I
Yep.
suppose.
Thanks for doing that. Thanks for taking one for the team.
I love it.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time you guys giving us today. Guys, make sure you go check out the Nice Targets. Pick yourself up some because they are pretty
Really nice.
sweet.
Pretty nice, bud.
They're pretty nice. There's no other way to say it.
I
All
appreciate
right, Jim,
it.
thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tatum,
Thanks, guys.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
Nice talking to you guys.
Appreciate your time.
Hey guys, we are still in the Archery Hall here. We had to swing by, talk to the folks over here at the Wasp booth. And I remember, Bucky, you and I were here at the Wasp booth last year talking with my buddy Steve. And
Yeah.
this thing's still here. That is so impressive.
This is the booth that sent me to the ER.
Bucky was going to fall out. But we got Fred Doherty is here with us today. Fred, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, bud.
Good.
I made reference to this, what is it, 12 pieces of steel?
Yeah, so what we did here, this catches everybody's attention, but if you
Heck
can
yeah.
picture this, there's 12 pieces of steel that are spaced about 2 inches apart. We have a muzzle loader with a special sleeved barrel that we put a steel arrow in and one of our broadheads on the end and literally shot it through 12 pieces of steel.
That is
It's obviously
crazy.
not, you hear it all the time. Oh, hey, I'm not hunting steel.
Right.
I get that. But it's a very tough broadhead. It comes through all those 12 pieces of steel, still fully intact. Blades are still there. The point's still sharp.
Yep.
I mean, just the fact that you can run through 12 pieces of steel like that and still have a ferrule left, let alone blades, because, this is an interchangeable fixed blade system. I mean, Wasp has been doing it right for years, but you would think an interchangeable blade system like this, and I don't know the actual numbers, but the thickness of the steel that you're using for these blades isn't that much, and you're running it through 12 pieces of solid steel.
That's right.
Like, they shouldn't make it.
We feel the advantage
Doesn't make sense.
is in the tip.
There you go.
It's
Yep.
hardened stainless, and we press the tip onto the ferrule, so that's always the trocar edges of the tip are always in perfect alignment with the blades.
Okay.
That allows deeper penetration. We've
Okay.
proven it time and again. We use competitors' heads. We do what we need to do. But when it comes to tough and durability, there's nothing better than a Wasp broadhead with a hardened stainless steel tip.
So that hardened stainless steel tip is affixed to the ferrule.
That's correct. It's pressed onto the ferrule, not
Okay.
screwed on.
Gotcha.
When you screw things onto a ferrule, you have to drill a hole down through the middle
Yep.
to accept the screw threads. That weakens
it.
the ferrule.
That makes sense. And I honestly didn't even realize that. So when you take that blade off of the shaft of the arrow, then you take the whole broadhead off the shaft of the arrow, those blades insert from the back of the ferrule, roll forward.
That's correct.
And there's a little clip
There's
under
a little notch under there. It fits right up underneath the tip.
Gotcha.
That's correct. Yep.
Perfect. That makes complete sense. I mean, they talk about some of the other manufacturers of broadheads talk about like solid poured steel versus this versus that. But obviously you're running component parts in this scenario through that many plates of steel.
Yeah.
Like I said, they shouldn't make it.
They shouldn't
But they
make it,
do.
but they do.
There it is.
Now, the stop sign that they have for demonstration is equally impressive.
It's good stuff. What I wanted to make sure that we did, though, was get a chance to talk about what you guys have new
All
this
right.
year.
So, last year we had tremendous success with the Havalon tie-in. We collaborated with Havalon knife people.
Yeah.
And to use their blade technology. It's not exactly the same as their skinning knives because as we proved to one another after 2 years of collaborating that a skinning knife is not made to go 400 feet per second. So we had to make some changes.
But boy, imagine if it could.
Imagine if it could. But we did come out with a pretty sharp broadhead and pretty sharp technology, and we sold the crap out of it last year. I mean,
Okay.
It just went great. It went crazy. So, of course, whenever we have success, we just expand on that. So this year we came out with 125 grain Havalon broadhead. And again, I think more and more people are understanding that with faster bows, more weight forward, there's no reason in the world why you shouldn't bump up to a 125 grain or even heavier. Crossbow guys over that 400 range, they should be shooting 150 grain. I mean, I'm just sold on it, convinced of it. Bow manufacturers don't preach it because they lose a little speed. It's not a lot of speed. Everybody thinks you're going to lose, 200 feet per second, and it's not like that. But I personally have bumped up to 125 grain on my vertical compound. I'll never go back. Never go back.
That makes sense. Now, that's the Havalon right there?
This Havalon is 125 grain Havalon. That's right.
Now, that's something you guys do a little bit better than most is you have a product for every application, your crossbows and your vertical bows and even your trad bows, which is really gaining popularity now. I actually shoot one of the heads, the sharpshooter, which is a little more of a trad head, isn't it?
It is. That's correct.
I actually shoot that in my compound, and I've shot that out of 3 different compounds now, a couple different arrow configurations, and I'm still getting tremendous flight out of that.
Yeah.
And I love its compact size, 1-inch diameter.
Yep.
Is just awesome for me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One of the biggest questions we get, is people that are new to the sport that come up and say, I shoot this bow at this speed. What broadhead should I use? So it's really a matter of personal choice. I always say to people that there's a lot of misnomers in the archery world, and the biggest one is tuning your broadheads. There's no such thing as tuning a broadhead. They're perfectly concentric. We make them to 4 decimal place accuracy. The broadhead is tuned. Okay.
Yeah.
Now your bow may need some help.
That's a whole nother story.
And then I call it the nut behind the wheel. The guy that's holding the bow.
And
he might need a little tuning.
That's the wild card.
Yeah,
right?
to get some form and shape. But
you're absolutely right.
I get my bows professionally tuned, and I do it probably twice a year to make sure. I don't even mess with it myself because I'd rather shoot it than play with it.
Sure.
But with a well-tuned bow, I'll pick any broadhead off of this lineup and shoot every one of them without a reservation.
Yep.
And this is something that these guys have all heard me say for years now at this point.
Yeah.
A well-tuned bow will shoot a fixed blade broadhead exactly the same as a mechanical and exactly the same as your field tip.
So correct.
So, the only thing that's going to make that bow shoot different is the operator.
Yeah,
In that
exactly.
scenario. It's that the only thing I can't control, these guys let me work on their bows, but the only thing I can't control is that 12 inches between their ears.
Exactly.
Other than that, I can make sure
the
that
biggest
bow will put that arrow in the same spot every time. It's where you're aiming when you hit the release.
Exactly.
That's going to make it different. So that's really cool. Now, again, back to the Havilon real quick.
Yep.
Same kind of tip,
Yep. Same
that we
trocar,
talked
hard
about.
stainless steel trocar tip.
and it's pressed.
It's pressed
into the
onto the ferrule. That's right.
Nice.
All solid one-piece materials.
Now you're holding something I have not seen before. I know the dart well, and I know the drone really well, but what's that?
I was watching you stare at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a new head we developed. It's called Mortem, M-O-R-T-E-M.
Okay.
And we came out with this specifically for dealers, okay? The dealers are kind of getting crunched a little bit because of online sales, Amazon, everybody trying to undercut. People that do direct sales through Amazon and so on and so forth don't even have a store. Maybe they're sitting home on their couch. I don't know how they do this stuff, but so the dealers are saying, we need something that's just for us. So we came out with a Mortem. We're only going to sell it to dealers. It's a solid stainless steel, one piece, ferrule tip is one piece, and then of course our interchangeable blades.
Wow.
And we are going to the wow factor is it's a cool looking head. But better than that, it's going to retail for $29.99
For three
for
pack.
3-pack head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we're not going to include extra blades, like we always do with our heads, because that's where you get a lot of the money tied up.
Practice blades?
Yeah, but $29.99 for three broadheads, and it's a good deal to the dealers. They make a great margin on it.
That's true. Yep.
And now they know that it's not going to show up on Amazon for 22 or 26 and I got nothing against Amazon. I mean, they're good customers for us, but so are our dealers, and we need to protect them as well.
Appreciate that. You guys ventured into the lighted knock category too.
We did, and we OEM this. I'm not going to take any credit for this, but it's an awesome idea. Of course, it's string activated, either crossbow or vertical bow. When you shoot, it lights up. Okay, that's nothing new. They've been doing that for 10, 15 years. But what's cool about this is there's a little switch on the side that you can literally just flick with your thumb and turn it off.
Okay.
Right.
So it for me, when I was testing them, I noticed right away it encourages me to use them rather than save them till the week before the season, because it was always just such a pain. Okay, I pulled my arrows. Now I got to find my pocket knife. I got to dig in there with something and turn them off. And
I do the same thing.
yeah,
Thank
everybody
you.
does.
Were you?
Thank
It's like you were at the
I'll
range with
say
me.
it right now. Thank
It's
you.
like you heard me complaining at the range. I love it.
Everybody does it. So it's a pretty,
And this
it's
year
pretty
I was
cool.
complaining in the tree stand as I'm watching that buck shaky leg almost going down as he takes off. And I'm complaining, why did the darn thing go off? I just pulled it out of the pack this week.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just one of those deals. So I like the idea of a switch. Now,
Yeah.
I will, a little tip or trick for anybody listening that is still using the collared type things, or you got to get in there with a knife or something. Just use your field tip off of another arrow.
You can.
That does
Exactly.
work in some cases, but it depends on your field tips. The bullet point style, they're
Doesn't
not going to
fit.
go in there.
That's exactly
So,
right.
just
That's why
something
we
to
did this.
consider.
We thought it was pretty cool. We
I
had
like
a guy
it.
work on
It's
it.
super easy.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we're here at the Harrisburg show. This is the first debut for these lighted knocks, and we're selling them in a 3-pack for $15.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's like incredible.
Great.
Probably by the time they hit our website, they'll be $24.99
Okay.
for a 3-pack, which is still a good price, and it's still worth it. You'll pay double that if you can't find your arrow or not sure you hit a deer or
Well,
whatever.
but you said about practice, and that's something that people don't do because of the expense of those things, and it really does make sure that that flight path is straight. You can see that, especially when you get out to the 50, 60-yard
Exactly.
mark. You can watch that wobble if there is one,
Or drop right
Yeah.
on in there.
or drop
Yep.
right on it. That's a sweet, sweet thing to see.
Isn't that
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
my old eyes? I have trouble following that arrow anymore, and have a lighted
Oh,
knock.
don't say that, Bucky. You're fine.
I first time I used them was this last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
I'll take a baker's dozen.
It's like going from mono to braided high quality
Uh-huh.
There you go.
thread, braid lines.
Especially if you go to the 40G.
Yeah,
from
the
Finn's,
fence.
am I right?
That's
Sorry.
exactly what I was going to say. That Finn's brought me to that point. And
How'd we go fishing?
I don't know.
These guys will do anything.
We can't not go
That's what
fishing.
they do.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you can't keep me
Everything
away.
goes full circle.
Full circle.
Bow fishing.
But thank
Bow
you
fishing.
for the
Should go bow
knock
fishing.
that I can do. It took me forever being a fairly new hunter and using lighted knocks. I was like, how the heck, guys? I had to go back to the podcast and humble myself. How do you do this? I wouldn't have had to do that
Yeah.
had
Now
I
we
had
know.
the Wasp lighted knock.
Love
It's
it.
a sweet product.
Well, Fred, I know you mentioned the website. So you guys do offer some direct-to-consumer
We do.
options on
Yep.
your website?
WaspArchery.com. You can buy anything you need from us.
Except for that one blade.
Except for that one blade. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing we're going to do, or have been doing at this show, and we put it on our website because we think it's kind of unique, is if you're that guy who's saying, man, I'd like to try this broadhead or that broadhead, we have an offering called Choose Your Weapon, where you can go on our website, click on it, and literally pick 3 different broadheads that you think are pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to try them. We put them in a nice travel case. Who can't use a travel case? You know.
Yeah.
And we mail it straight to you. Who can't use 3 travel cases? So and we mail them right to your house, and that way you can shoot 3 totally different broadheads, and you only got $25 wrapped up in it.
That is really nice.
Pretty.
Yeah,
What an
and
opportunity.
you see a lot of people doing that now because of the market, right? There's tons of options out there, and even if they aren't planning to shoot with them, guys are still buying a ton of broadheads to do
Yeah.
these tests, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll make videos and stuff on them.
Yeah.
But you can still wrap yourself up into a considerable amount of money, so that's clever. That's pretty
Broadheads
slick.
are, I mean, let's face it, they're getting expensive. Materials are expensive, labor's expensive. We have the same issues any company has, paying medical benefits and all that sort of stuff. So prices keep going up, and I get it. So we're
Yeah.
trying to offer something to people that they can give it a shot, give it a try, see how it's going to work before they commit to buying 2 packs and
Yeah.
and spending 40
I
$40
would
a pack.
I would assume you mentioned medical benefits. I would assume that somewhere at your factory, you guys probably go through a lot of Band-Aids, is my guess.
Believe it or not, they'll jinx me here, but it's not so bad. It's not as bad as they're so used to it. They know what they're doing.
Safety's the
2,400 one day
One
without
days.
an accident.
Yeah.
Thanks to you,
Sorry.
Ryan.
Maybe I'll cut that part out. We won't release it so it doesn't jinx you.
Yeah, but you know what? It's serious business, and when you do get cut, it's bad. It's never a little cut.
Yeah.
You probably don't notice it either at first because it's such
Sharp
a
blades don't
whenever like a scalpel.
Yeah, you're wondering where the blood came from.
Whenever
Start
I get
looking around.
myself, it always seems to be like a paper cut. It's one of those areas where as soon as you bend your finger, it cracks it open so it'll never heal right.
Right at the same spot.
And, I always, not always, but for me, it's always when I'm taking them off and on.
Okay.
Off and on the arrow shaft that it'll be stuck a little bit, and then when it finally goes, it rolls too quick, and I can't keep up. And
My nemesis is the 4-blade models because I'm so used to 3-blade. I know
You can
exactly
put
how to
your
pick
fingers
them
in
up.
between.
Yeah.
But when I get to a 4-blade, there's an extra one there.
and you get it right on the thumb. Well, Fred, thank you so much, bud. Appreciate you giving us the time to go over some of this stuff.
You bet, Ryan. I appreciate it.
And then, I'm sorry, say the website again for everybody so they
It's
can get
just
out there and check it out.
WaspArchery.com.
Cool.
Perfect.
And if you have any tech questions, I answer tech questions every day. Every day I'm not at a show.
Yeah.
And you can just email Fred at wasparchery.com. And I'll get all your tech questions, and I'm happy to talk to people one-on-one anytime, anywhere. That's how we sell broadheads. We want to help people, shoot what they need to shoot, and not just what we want to sell them.
No, that's one thing I've always appreciated about you guys. Thank you.
Very, very
Thank
cool.
you, Andy.
Thanks, Fred.
Appreciate
Appreciate the
Thank
time.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Catch you later, man.
Hey guys, we are in the Outfitter Hall
We sure are.
for a little bit of a reunion.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Is that why you brought us here?
I could not bring you here.
Is that right?
I have a lot of affinity.
What'd you do?
For this place, and the boys are here from Wyoming. And what did I do in Wyoming? Got my first antelope buck with a bow.
Speed goat.
Little speed goat action.
Nice.
Where the antelope roam.
So we're at Wyoming's finest. They're out of Sheridan, Wyoming, and my guide is actually here.
So this is the guy that made it all happen.
Many, many years ago. Many, many moons.
Moons, yeah,
So this is the man that can tell the truth.
yeah. All the stuff
Yeah,
that
I'm not
I've
sure
been
what he told you guys.
Somewhere in between.
everything that I've been telling you, this guy can corroborate or just call me out.
Yeah. No, we had a great hunt.
We
It was
did.
Amazing. You and your wife, and we
That's right. Miss Leanna was out there too.
put the smack down on him.
We had the first day was sketchy. We sat over a water hole, and it came in just a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it was a smaller buck, and you know what I mean, Pennsylvania boy. Any buck's going to be a good buck.
Well, and that would be the toughest thing I think for me to judge is, what's good, what's not. I'm looking at a mount up here, and I'm sure that these are fantastic, but I don't have a point of reference. And I could imagine one on hoof when I got my bow in my hand compared to a whitetail. I'm like, I don't know, is that a good one? That's
and
why we have
I always tell people that antelope are almost as hard to judge as bears.
Okay.
Unless you're around them all the time, it's difficult to know what's a good one and what's a bad one.
Yeah.
So.
And this is Kelsey
That's a
Gonzalez.
good one. How do you know?
Because
Because it's in front of us.
that's a good one.
That's
That's
always
what
a
it
good
should
one.
be. That's literally the way it should be.
I'd be fine with that.
I let this one just kind of keep being it.
No.
I let it go, and I was kicking myself for doing that, and then the next day confirmed that I should have kicked myself because we didn't see much the next day.
Uh-oh.
And but Kelsey was like, "Don't worry about it. I got you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. We're taking it to the honey
You were
hole.
starting to feel like you were going to be one of those classic examples of never pass on the first day, which you'd be happy to take on the last.
Mm-hmm.
I always do that. I mean, it just seems like that's my MO.
Your forte.
Yeah.
But
I gave him the warm fuzzy, though.
But that trip helped you change, though, because you're not like that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I got reaffirmed up in New
step in the
Brunswick
right
where,
direction.
I did the same thing, with a bear. But anyway, I did. So Kelsey says, "I got you. Don't worry about this. We're going to the spot." And I saw so many antelope, and I had some, as you probably already know, and if you listen back, I had some equipment issues and blind issues, and
Well, I'm glad your vision improved, bud.
yeah. But we ended up taking an awesome buck.
Yeah.
It was the best and worst day of my life.
It was a good learning experience. I'm sure you've never done that since.
I honestly haven't.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't. But the thing is I say this over and over again. I practice so hard going into this hunt because I know the distance, I know the travel, the money going into it. Like, it was a big deal for me.
Sure.
And I wanted to do awesome. I wanted to just come away with like a booner, or Pope and Young, rather.
Something.
Yeah. And everybody's dream, right?
Sure.
So when I was just flinging arrows and it was getting pretty sketchy, I haven't been that worked up. I'm pretty sure I was pretty close to heart attack, or stroke status.
The first time you sit in a blind, you got an antelope coming into you. I mean, it's intimidating.
They're maddening. They're not whitetails.
No.
Just FYI. I don't know if you guys know that.
You don't say.
I heard there are different species.
Almost.
Some do tell.
All
They
but.
look a little different.
But they're so maddening, and they don't react like our whitetails. They're
Yeah, the body language on them is going to have to be different, I would imagine.
And
So-
completely random in their daily routine. You never know what they're going to do. They'll be walking one direction and just all of a sudden turn and go somewhere else.
or
it's
lay
like they're
down.
or lay down 100 yards from the watering hole and sit there and stare at you.
With the whitetail, their best defense is going to be their nose. You can sometimes fool their eyes and their ears, but once they wind you, they're gone. But these things, the antelope have eyes like telescopes or something, they say, right?
They
can
say
see
8 power, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's
That's
true.
it?
Or not, but yeah. That's it, just 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's funny, though, throughout the years, I've kind of found out that for one reason or another, inside like that 30 to 20 yard, their vision isn't as acute as a deer's.
Okay.
In my opinion. There's no scientific journal or anything that I've seen, but
It's
from my
anecdotal.
experience.
Oh, you can see too good.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it could be one of those, they're farsighted, I
Or
guess.
you get
Would
them to
it be?
cross their eyes, maybe, or that might be a zone where they.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
Because I would.
It's a theory.
It makes sense.
Just thinking about that, they are prey. Their eyes are set off to the
Yep.
side, and I think you do get to a certain point in their field of vision. You get that crossedness.
Yeah,
or,
at close
for
range,
lack
maybe
of
they
it.
can't see as well.
But,
I don't know.
But it works.
Well, Bucky dated that girl at one time that
She couldn't see as
She had
well.
eyes like that, and she thought he was the greatest thing ever until he got too close that one time.
Bucky's,
Heck, a good majority of the ladies, for some
the
reason, now
eyes-
that I think about it,
those
wore
eyes
thick
finally lined
glasses
up.
for a while.
Maybe humans are the same way. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll talk later.
I digress.
Bucky
So-
was in the movie The Mask, if you guys don't know. She was touching his face and let him go after that.
So I'm very happy for you, Will, that you got to do that. And if we want to talk about that more, we can. But I can't get over the
So
variety.
anyway, I got this antelope.
Go ahead.
No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I wanted to talk about the variety.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm seeing on
No.
the wall is not just beautiful antelope, but
This-
I got whitetails.
Yep.
Let me jump in.
Go ahead.
I'm
I'm
jacked
sorry.
up.
I feel bad.
Wyoming is a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
Kelsey showed us some animals. Even just getting to where our animals would be,
Yeah, to our hunting area.
you're passing animals, and I'm like, wait, why are you
about that?
driving past that one?
There's one right there.
We got this.
Yeah, I think Wyoming pretty much offers everything that you can shoot in the lower 48.
Yeah.
It's like I said, target-rich environment, and I think we're extremely lucky. I feel extremely lucky to live there and be able to hunt all these animals. And still, the biggest whitetail I've ever shot
Yeah.
is from Wyoming.
Right.
That's why I keep coming back east, and I keep shooting these damn 130, 140 class whitetail.
Oh,
I need
bless your
to
heart.
stop that.
Yeah.
But
Dude.
no, I feel blessed.
Terrible problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can give me a call when
Well,
you're
this-
done passing on them.
This bruiser on the wall here, this whitetail's no slouch, and I'll bet you, what's he going to go, 125?
Something like that. And
It's hard to say because the body size on that thing looks massive. So, it's one of those deals like they say with Texas whitetails.
Mhm.
The antlers look a lot bigger because it's on a smaller frame.
Yeah, the body
you go up
size
to
is-
Canada and you hunt the same deer, and it looks like, maybe I'll let that one pass. It's maybe a 120s. It turns out it's 160s. It's just on a 350-pound frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe I was making this up in my head
But
when
go
I
ahead.
heard something. But Kelsey was like, the whitetails, people don't care about them as much.
Not as much. And people still hunt whitetail, but we're big mule deer hunters back there.
Yeah.
And our whitetail population is just exploding. And I think it's having somewhat of an effect on the mule deer.
Yeah.
So, I
We
mean,
were
if
saying
we
that
want
back
meat,
then, too.
yeah, if we want meat, we'll go out and just hammer whitetail does.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it tastes a little bit better, but yeah, we'd like to see a lot more mule deers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But they just, when we were seeing deer jump fences and different things, and they're just gigantic
You're like,
racks.
look at that. He's like,
I'm like
yeah.
shaking.
Oh, did you see a rabbit? Oh.
They just don't
Jackalopes.
care.
Yeah.
What kind of turkeys are these?
They're Merriam's.
Merriam's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, supposedly we've got, we get some vanilla, cream-colored Merriam's, and there's rumors that they could possibly be hybrids from Rios or something like that, but that's probably only 20-25% of the population that we have. Most of them are that pure white Merriam's tail feathers.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
And there's no shortage of those. I think it's only the last 15, 20 years where their population has exploded, and they're fun to hunt.
Yeah.
They're not as smart as these eastern whitetails.
Really?
Yeah, not near as smart. You could blow a phone call with them, and they'll come running up to you.
Those are my kind of turkeys.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Sounds like I need to start hunting
Bucky
in Wyoming.
calls me and a turkey gobbles. Ring, ring.
Oh, that's
boy.
awesome. What would you say your the most interesting thing that you've been able to see, aside from Will actually being successful with his antelope, as a guide out there?
Oh, good Lord. I wish I would have had some of you guys as cameramen with me for the last, 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I've seen some crazy stuff. We do a lot of cat hunting. There's some wild stuff that goes on with the cats.
Oh.
You run them with dogs? Or,
Yeah. We use dogs on those, and shoot, we've got too many cats on one of the leases that we have, and we were seeing them during hunting season this year during the day, which is very, very rare.
Okay. So maybe I'm not going.
Cats scare the heck out of me.
Oh,
Just because of they're known to stalk human just for the fun of it.
Yep.
And you don't know they're there. They could be there all day long.
Yep.
Very elusive predators.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you are not
Do you
the
ever
alpha
find yourself?
No.
out there, and that.
No, between the wolves and the bears and the mountain lions,
Oh, my.
Like,
you
like-
step down on the food chain a little bit.
Right.
Did you ever find yourself in a situation where you realize all of a sudden that maybe something might be trailing you?
Not during my guiding experience. Growing up, my dad and I were elk hunting one time, and I was down in front. He was calling behind me, and all of a sudden things just got eerily weird. You know, the hair stands on the back of your neck. And I turned around and looked at my dad, and about 15 yards behind him, there was a tom stalking in on him. And I stood up and looked at him and told him, because he was cow calling.
Yeah.
And he turned around, looked at the cat, stood up, and as soon as he stood up, the cat was like, "Oh, you're not an elk," and beat feet. But it was coming into him.
Thank goodness he wasn't wearing his elk jacket.
Yeah. The elk decoy action.
With a
Little
little
foam head.
I've been elk hunting before, and, one instance I had a guy that was in front of me, and I was calling, trying to get some elk into him. And all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by flies. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look to my left, and there's a buried elk calf that a mountain lion had killed. It was really fresh. At that point, you obviously were like, oh, I'm over a fresh mountain lion kill. Like,
Yeah. Maybe we'll move.
I checked the
Yeah, it makes you be a little more
I checked the
observant at that
trees
point.
straight above me first.
Yes. But,
Boy.
got a lot of respect for him. I've never had any instances with mountain lions where I was afraid for my life. Bears, certainly, grizzly bears, but that's not a fun experience, being bluff charged by grizzlies.
I would guess not.
Never been in that situation before, but yeah.
He told me to pack underwear just in case.
Now you know. Now you know why.
Yep.
Spare set.
Not only do they have grizzly bears and mountain lions, but they have wolverines. Like, just when you think,
Safe to come out.
Yeah.
How many other X-Men are hiding up here?
Yeah, it gets western out there, but that's why I live there. It's exciting, and
Yeah, it makes sense. It's something that I would say a lot of us Eastern boys take for granted. We get black bear, sure, but black bear not aggressive at all.
No.
Probably one of the
fear.
most timid and fearful animals in the Pennsylvania woods. But
go and get.
we take for granted the fact that when we go kicking around, an hour and a half before dark to get into our stand, like, we are the apex predator at that point.
Yes.
There's nothing in the woods that we need to fear. And boy, oh boy, that's a whole different feeling walking into a stand in the dark.
In the dark, yeah.
In
Every
Wyoming.
little noise is like,
Huh.
I do.
What do you have going on at Wyoming's finest? I mean, is there anything new besides that massive grill that sounds like a F-14?
Yeah, we still have that.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of that thing.
No.
We've picked up some more leases. We got another bigger lease that we just picked up down south by KC for mountain lions.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful country down there, and an overabundance of cats.
KC is pronghorn heaven, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of goats down there as well.
Oh, wow.
There's goats everywhere in Wyoming. I
Yeah.
mean, supposedly there's more goats than there are people, but
I would.
That'd be a good place to be,
Confirm.
too.
Yeah.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
That's the American.
we enjoy it. Everybody talks about, I want to move to Wyoming. No, it sucks here. It's horrible.
terrible.
The
Stay
winters-
away.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this podcast, is to tell everybody not to come.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, it's dangerous. There's animals trying to kill you all the time.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
The food is terrible.
Yeah.
You won't.
The beef is not fresh.
We ate so much. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was all, everything that you see on this wall. We just had piles of it. We just couldn't eat enough.
Oh, a quick question, and I don't want to hold you up
Certainly.
the whole night here, but antelope meat. I probably should have saved this for Will sometime, but you've eaten a lot more of it, I'm assuming, than Will has. Sagey is something I've heard about antelope. Is that a true statement?
Sometimes. I'm going to say this. I would put antelope right next to elk meat as
Okay.
far as table fare. I think it's some of the best meat that's out there. The key thing is because, like you said, Phil, it's a different species, and it's a goat-like species.
It's very
To
similar.
reiterate,
Right. Science.
but it does. I think it spoils quicker than deer,
Okay.
or elk, or anything like that. For one reason or another, if you don't cool it off quickly, if you don't get the hide off of it, it'll spoil quicker. But yeah, other than that, I'd almost take an antelope backstrap over anything else.
Well, if it's going to spoil quicker, then you just hope you have a guy named Victor in camp, right?
You eat it quicker.
Because the Victor goes to spoil
eat it right away.
That's true.
You know that saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard that. So.
No, I love it. And everybody that, we do have some hunters that come out and just hunt, kill, and they refuse to eat it. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What did you think of it, Will?
I loved it. It's my favorite meat.
It's
for sure.
definitely got a different flavor. It's a different, distinct flavor, but I love it.
Yeah, I love. I think for me, it's the antelope, moose, whitetail. Kind of go down. I like elk's in there too. It's a little more. It's tougher at times.
Yeah.
But I would assume though for you some of the wonderful flavor behind the antelope meat was the experience. It has to add to it, So
I don't know.
Your
Mine
opinion's a
tasted
bit
really
jaded.
good. And whenever I was,
everything that Miss Leanna has cooked for me has been amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to.
I didn't hunt that goat with him, but it tasted darn good, bud.
Did you get something?
I got some.
All right.
All
right. Lucky.
And
I
yeah,
know,
and I feel
we
very
were rationing it like crazy too.
It was
It's like
so
gold.
Oh, it was. It was red gold.
And the bad thing is they're smaller, so you only get like 30, 35 pounds of meat off of them.
Right.
Yeah, and we actually worked out a deal too with the butcher that, we kind of took the good stuff and he gave me a bunch of sticks and
Yep.
yeah, so
Off of the hamburger parts and stuff. Yeah.
so I kind of only had the good stuff. I didn't take the whole thing on the plane with me.
Yep.
It was cool because we packed it up on some dry ice and it checked it.
Yep. Bring it
Checked
on.
the antelope.
Yeah.
Special
Very cool.
cargo.
That's right.
That was great.
So for the folks that couldn't make it down here to the show over the next few days, Kelsey, can you tell us how can they get a hold of you guys? Check out the website with all these amazing photos, and book something to get out
Well,
there.
you can jump online, obviously, and go to wfoutfitters.com and go from there. We've got a pretty good website on there. Let's see. You can also call this number at 307-751-2297 and get directly a hold of the outfitter, Chris Powers, and go from there. We're pretty much booked up for this year.
Okay, that was going to be my
We
follow-up.
could use some bear and some turkey hunters, but other than that, yeah, we're booked up. And if you're planning on coming out to Wyoming for elk, you got to start putting in for those preference points.
And that was my third question. Are we looking at any kind of draw systems or points? So
Not for the deer and antelope, specifically the elk, yes. And it typically takes around 7 for rifle and 8 or 9 for archery. But our elk hunting is phenomenal. Like if New Mexico was in Wyoming, I'd expect our Unit 38 there is what New Mexico would be like. It's amazing.
nice.
So,
We need to do that. We need to do all of these.
all of these things.
All of the things.
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, I just feel like I had a taste of it, and
You got to come back out.
the way
It's been too long.
the way we did it was one style. The way we did it was one style. Kelsey did a spot and stalk with a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
Behind the cow blind.
The cow decoy, yeah,
Yep.
that's a blast too.
So
Yeah.
that was
be
next
fun.
step for me. If we didn't get on to what to mine, we were going to do the ride around with a cow blind.
Yep.
But there's ways. If you're
So cool.
like I said, target-rich opportunities. So get out and check these guys out. I'm a fan. I've been for a long time. So
Hold on, before we're done here, we got to talk about your experience, right?
yeah. I need to tell you guys about this antelope I got.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's all about me. This whole podcast is.
Oh, no.
I've been saying that for years, bud.
Thank you
Very
for
cool.
this little reunion. It does mean a lot.
God.
Yeah.
Great to see you again, and I'm glad you came by and
Heck
took the
yeah.
time to do that.
Yep.
Thank you, Kelsey. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Thanks, bud.
Sounds good.
See ya. All right, guys, so we are back here at the Archery Hall. I can't venture far from this place.
Bless
And
your heart.
I made Will come back, and he's rolling his eyes as I was talking to him. Like, I know, bud, you got to go out to ATA. I didn't get to go, all right?
I've already
So just
been there, done that.
take it easy.
Okay.
I needed to get over here to the Lone Wolf booth, and we're going to talk with Jason Campbell today. And Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about this run and gun setup that I am absolutely in love with?
Okay, well, the one that you're looking at right now is our 1.0 stand, the DeQuisto series, 7.5 pounds. The setup you have has got the 4 mini sticks that all grommet in, low. Everything is low profile.
Yeah, it is.
So it's weighted close to your back, so now you're not getting stretched out far away when you know, the weight system like the old style used to be that pulls out. We made it to where you can lock the stand seat in place.
Okay.
Like to put your backpack on.
Sure.
You attach the, top loop right here to the new thing up at the top that fixes it.
So it's like the base on like an old external frame pack.
Yeah, it's built on that frame, like a frame pack. And it will dual as that too. So like as you see in like the picture behind us, you can see how they pack the deer out.
That's
and
so
I've
cool.
used it myself to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it works great. Then we also added a feature where no more tangling the bow rope at the base of your tree.
Yeah.
Can wrap it around, keep it, low profile and compact.
Like the vacuum cleaner accessory for the
Exactly.
cord.
Yep.
And it works really good too.
Brilliant.
Incredible.
One thing that we did that we released just here this year,
Yeah.
we got away with the bungees.
Oh,
So no more bungee system. So now you can unscrew this J-hook, run it through the stand,
And that's your. Oh wow.
one piece pulls out.
And doesn't need to come apart, so you're not dropping pieces.
Yep, it's
That's
all one
brilliant.
piece, and you put it back in just like I did. Tighten it right down. Now you've squeezed those grommets right together and
Right.
pulled it so tight to the stand. I'll just finger tight it, but
Yeah, it's not
it's
going
not
anywhere.
going anywhere. So, the old bungee style, you'd be walking, a tree limb catches it. Sometimes it'll pop a stick loose, or you get caught up, end up catching something. Now it makes it for a more low-profile setting. It keeps
Yep.
everything tighter together, so now you can just kind of squeeze in and out to where you need to go without making a lot of noise.
Right.
We also added 2 more notches in the leveling system on the I-beam. So now for those trees that lean too far forward or those trees that are leaning too far back,
Yeah.
we've extended what we already had before and made it more compact. You can lock them in place. If you look at the bracket that we have here, now it has 6 points instead of just the old style bracket that we used to have.
Yeah.
You can hang on a crooked tree with just those 3 and it locks in tight. I mean, you're not going nowhere.
That's
it
a
just
lot
locks
better.
you right down. So we really took and paid attention to what people wanted plus with what we used, and we could see that would be game changing.
Yeah.
And made it into this stand on the 1.0, and then this year we came out with a 2.0,
Nice.
which is right around 5.5 pounds right now.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Okay, so it's a
And
little.
the weight of this was again?
That's 7.5.
Yeah, you didn't emphasize that enough. I
Yeah.
mean, that's already light. To go
Well, and that's-
lighter is awesome.
Our competition with the 2.0
Yeah.
is the 1.0, and that's it. There's no one else that's coming out with
Right,
anything
yeah.
that's even close to that
Yeah.
right now.
I'm
So
pretty sure I read some business books that said you're not supposed to be your own competitor, but I think I like the way you guys are working this.
well, it's custom gear, which
Yeah.
is customized to the hunter. So you have many different options now
Yeah.
that you can roll with, and how you're going to run your stick combos. How if you're going to run aiders, which is another thing that we came out with this year.
I seen that.
Our patent aiders, no more rope hanging down anymore. And if you can see on this stick right here, it folds right in, wraps in, so you don't lose the low profile of how you can keep
Okay.
it together. And all
That
you have
is-
to do, just a figure 8 on top of it, you just pop it off.
And it's a rubber coated cable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
So-
can see when it sits back against the tree,
Right.
it's here and it's rigid.
So
So,
for-
it's no longer dangling.
For the folks that aren't aware of what we're talking about when we say aiders on these climbing sticks, I have a rock climbing background, so I have a lot of extra cord and rope and stuff that's
Right.
available, and I have actually changed up some of my sticks so that I was doing this. But when you're doing it with loops, accessory loops and stuff from rock climbing gear, it's all soft
Right.
tubular nylon. So when you're hanging it off of there, you got to now in the dark, in some cases, 10, 12 feet off the ground, try to work your foot into that loop that's just gravity's pulling it
Yeah.
closed. This is brilliant.
Yeah, so,
And it's always there.
and you can adjust the loop size by just spreading those apart, and
Great.
it makes it bigger for a bigger boot. So now it's out from the tree, and even the step, a lot more safe getting in and out.
Yep.
Stays rigid even when your foot comes off of it. Goes right back. And then so compact, it's just ounces, so it's not adding the weight. And matter of fact, we actually took these and put them against the full-length sticks. This mini with this aider is longer than a full stick.
Yep.
So, and but you're not sacrificing weight.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm 6 foot tall. For me, kind of have a longer leg. I run 3 of these. I'm getting 20 feet easy.
Yeah.
This isn't hard for me to do, but I don't have to, you know, I'm less than 5 pounds. I don't have to sacrifice the weight to get that now. So, and that's my custom style that I like to run. And a lot of guys run them with fulls or however they're going to do them. And then it's so simple to just pull them back down to it again.
I love that.
You know?
Nice.
And
Jordan does a lot of running and gunning like this, too.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff really...
I see his jaw dropping.
Yeah, he's drooling, actually.
Salivating.
It's just so cool because you guys are matching the trend right now. The whole archery world is changing, and the saddle hunting is becoming so common. And with the aider setup and the shorter sticks, you're cutting weight in half, and you're adding more of a mobile setup.
Yeah, and then we actually, you know, said, okay, well, the saddle hunting is kind of taken up. There's a lot of guys, different hunting.
Right.
If we're going to run custom gear, we want to be custom to them too. So we came out with the ambush platform for the saddle hunters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kept it everything compact, lightweight, you know, with a sturdy platform.
Yeah.
And then you can also, you see the grommet holes, you can attach the sticks to this as well and walk in with the sticks compacted to it with one system, not sticks carried from some other separate way, pack straps on it, walking in and out with the same thing, lightweight. You can customize that how you want it.
That thing right there screams old school Pennsylvania rifle season deer drive.
This I literally said this to like 3 guys here. I said, when we do deer drives, this thing goes up so the guys can see the sitters and you can see your pushers coming through.
Yep.
And this isn't anything to carry over with you and just put it up. You don't got to be 20 feet up, just enough to get up over the over the brush level.
I've lugged big, bulky climbing platforms to go
I've
in and
done
do
the
that.
same
a lot
thing.
of times when you're a stander in a drive situation, you only need to get 5-6 feet above, you know, the level of some of that brush, the mountain laurel and stuff like that. Gives you just amazing visibility just to get a couple feet up.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we're coming out with too, it hasn't been, you know, we put the prototype out, but it's not out for production. It will be very soon, is our mini double stick. You can see the standoffs that it has. We have an aider on this one.
It's very standoffish.
A little bit.
Yeah, very. But you can see how it all packs together with the standoffs, and it sits in, and then the actual Versa button goes through the hole right there, and it just locks in place. For those guys that want to stand off on the top stick, or they just feel more comfortable using a double, they can go. Again, you don't have to sacrifice the height
for the length.
if you decide to run an aider, and you're still running about 1.5 pounds with these, just like the other minis.
They sold individually, or they sold in a 2-pack?
You can
3-pack?
buy them individually, but we sell them by the 4-pack.
4-pack, great.
Yeah. So you get 4, and you can get them individually too if you'd like. You know, that's up to you. But again, like I said, custom gear, customized for each hunter how he wants to hunt.
Asian hunter.
Well, I mean, you look at it. How many different setups do you have?
Right.
You know, and the goal is to be able to provide all of our hunters with one system that does it all, the best, the most lightweight, you know, badass out in the market. You know what I mean? That's really what it's about.
Nice.
Agreed. And with that double stick, like you said, being able to customize just a single or a set of 4, a lot of guys, like you said, don't run a platform. They will put a double stick at the top and just stand on the double stick.
Yep.
So you can run 3 of your longer ones and then just have a double stick at the top, and that eliminates the need for a platform. Yep. Obviously, a platform is probably more comfortable, but, you know, just like you said, tailoring to each occasion.
Some guys don't want to carry a platform. They, you know, they're trying to go in as light as possible, and that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here. And I think we're doing a pretty good job right now of customizing everything to, people's needs. And then you notice our pack straps are a lot more heavy duty than, people are coming just to buy the pack straps.
Okay.
Like, oh, they look at them and they're like, wow, these are way better than what I'm seeing, these little tiny straps.
Right.
And then you can run it with the waist belt, and you can see how it hooks into one if you want to run it that way. So like when I'm running my setup, I run just the padded straps for the shoulder straps. But the minute that I actually end up, being successful on a deer, I go back to the truck with my bow, pull my sticks off. This is my frame pack now.
Right.
I put my waist belt on my stand because I don't like keeping it on when I'm not. I walk out to the woods, 45 minutes, I'm cutting my deer up, quartering out, boning it out. If it's a buck, then, obviously, cape him, put it on, bolt it to the stand.
Perfect.
Lock him in, and then I'm out. Instead of that 2 a.m, I'm dragging him out of the woods now.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Nobody enjoys those nights, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to make it easier on everybody, but at the same time, bringing that same quality that Lone Wolf's known, for.
No question.
I'm still running a sit and stand combo, and I have the straps. It's actually like a vest system almost. You remember when Lone Wolf made that about 8 years ago or something? I love that thing. I pretty much exclusively use it in rifle season though at this point because I do a lot of hang-ons and running guns.
We have
for
run into
archery, but that's pretty cool.
So many guys at the PA show that are sit and climb, or the old, climber stands.
Yeah.
And they're just love them to death. And I try to tell them when I'm talking, I'm like, man, you guys got to try this thing out. And then I start going through it with them, and then they're like, man, that thing's nice. It's
Pretty
a must-have
slick.
if you're a run and gun, hang and bang kind of guy. This is it.
So if the folks listening right now can't make it down to the show, what's the best way for them to get one of these? Obviously to take a look at it first, but to get it to the house.
Best way to get it to the house is visit us at lonewolfcustomgear.com. Sign up for our newsletter. You get all of our, up-to-date when stuff's in stock, get sent to you, how you can order it, the prices, any promos that might be going on. And then also, I know we've been doing upload videos on how to attach the aiders and a few other things that a lot of our viewers are asking, oh, we got this, how do we do this? Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
To make it easier on everyone.
Right.
That's the place to go then. Very, very cool,
Very
Jason.
cool.
Very quality.
I appreciate you giving us some time here. I noticed we got folks that are standing
A
around
line,
watching.
yeah.
They're forming a line, so I
It's
don't want to take
normal
up
on
too
this.
much of your time.
It seems to be normal right here. They like to stack up in this little area.
Yeah.
That's
Very
perfect. And there is some extra swag, so if you guys get down to the show, you want to check some of this stuff out. Hats, beanies. What's the little, is that a wind checker with a compass in it?
This is our dual chamber wind check bottle, so you can put your milkweed on one side, if that's what you run, your floaters. And then you can also run powder on this side. And I was thinking, and me and another guy were talking, maybe even run synthetics off this side if you didn't want to run powder because it'll lock up, and then you can squirt it down however you choose. Clips right on to whether it's your stand or your backpack.
Do not show that to Bucky.
Do you know
You'll
what
be
kind of-
squirting everything.
Oh, well.
Do you know what kind of rubber that's made out of? I'm just wondering. I guess if it's synthetics, though, it's not going to break it down.
I don't think so. I couldn't tell you the exact.
That's pretty slick. It's probably machine or dishwasher safe. Let's just say, so you can get it cleaned out.
And the also also noticed the silent tape.
Yeah, the Slayer tape. Yeah, we have that for sale here too. So, and a lot of guys don't understand that compared to moleskin, which is what a lot of guys were using before, it's stickier.
Oh,
the noise reduction is a lot more quiet. Even just a demo here, you guys are all sitting here. Here's a piece of the stand. Way different on the there's that one. It's just a bolt jiggling off of it. You know what I mean? It's completely different.
Right.
And then you can see all these steps that guys have been using.
Yeah.
Look, there's no tear or wear or anything on them back and forth. There's hundreds of people coming through checking them out.
Yeah.
They're a lot thinner than the other style. They stick to it, but there's so many more uses than just in the whitetail woods with them fishing stuff. Your mouse pads, it's grippy.
Yeah.
Nice.
It really silences everything that you're trying to do with it, and it just is indestructible. It doesn't like to come off of there. So
Very cool. You guys think of everything. I'm not going to lie. And it looks cool, too. That's the other thing. Can't go wrong with that.
I know we're over time probably here, Jason, but you guys came out with a camera arm. We're
Out
out
of time, bud.
Oh, yeah. The camera arm's brand new, correct?
Yes, it is. That's something that we're releasing out as well, and we have it here. It's a little over a pound.
Yep.
It's super compact. I mean, you guys have seen how compact it is. It's, you know what?
Cody advertised it, putting it in his back pocket.
Oh, yeah,
and
and
pulling
it
out.
does. I mean,
Yeah.
you can, just like you put it in, and no more base of a separate connection for the weight. So you can attach it with a regular strap that we have, lock it in the tree, tighten it down so it's leveled in, and then extend it how you so choose.
Right.
And it's going to come with a standard bolt size that fits fluid heads or whatever else that you're going to put on there, and you know how you run your camera.
Slick.
Plenty enough room to do what you need to do with, and then most importantly, folds back up real tight, and it's not adding a bunch of weight.
Compact,
you know,
and lightweight.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that
I'm noticing
this is. I'm pretty sure that this is twice as light as the nearest lightest one out.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
But you're getting in the woods with all of your gear lighter than what my tree stand is.
My personal setup is about 11.5 pounds with camera arm. That's
Yeah, my tree
outside of my
stand's
gear.
17
Yeah, and that's a funny thing. So like people are coming up to us and they're like, man, all these other stands are like 10.5 pounds, and you're saying you're running out in the woods like just a little at 11, but you have a camera arm and all the sticks and everything.
Right.
This is just the stand.
Right.
And like looking at me, I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, man. Like this is if you're a mobile hang and bang guy, you have to get this stuff.
Right. Absolutely.
Very, very cool.
Very cool, guys.
Jason, thanks so much again for your time, buddy.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Nice to meet you guys.
How we say that again? This is the
This is the DeQuisto Series
DeQuisto.
1.0.
Yeah.
And then you have the DeQuisto Series 2.0.
Yep. Awesome.
Very good.
Thanks again, Jason.
We're going to need to take
Appreciate
about 7 or 8 of them home. All right, let's go get that order filled out. Thanks, bud. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Well, there it is, folks. Day 7 in the books. We only got 2 days left in the National Rifle Association's Great American Outdoor Show, but I fully anticipate they're going to be a couple of epic days. Can't wait. Guess we'll catch you all tomorrow. And don't forget, find us on RuttenRiverPursuits.com. Check us out on all your social media properties like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search Rutten River Pursuits. Make sure you follow the YouTube channel also, Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. Speaking of the podcast, it's always available on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. That's what we got, folks. See ya.